You're listening to
Catholic Sprouts,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith.
Greetings, young Squire Sprouts. Today is the 14th day in the 5th month in the year of our Lord 2022. My name is Sir Roland Paterlot, and you're listening to Saturdays with Sir Roland on Catholic Sprouts, where every Saturday we discuss the art of dragon slaying. Today is the feast day of St. Matthias. He was the apostle chosen to replace Judas. He's the patron saint of those who struggle with too much alcohol. It's very interesting how St. Matthias was chosen, which we read about in the Acts of the Apostles. The apostles all gathered together and they decided to pray. They wanted to choose someone who was with them during Jesus' ministry and through his crucifixion so that that person could boldly preach the resurrection. A couple of guys fit the description, but how could they know who the Lord wanted if Jesus wasn't actually physically with them? Well, they prayed, and then they cast lots to determine the Lord's will. They really believed that God would show them the way through prayer. And that, dear young squires, is our topic today. For the rest of this month of May, we're going to be focusing on spiritual swords or weapons that can help us slay dragons and know God's will for our lives. And prayer is one of the most powerful. Now beware, there's a dragon in Sir Wyvern's manual that really wants to keep you from utilizing the great weapons we'll be discussing. The dragon's name is Frantix. He's an obstacle dragon, and he doesn't just use one obstacle to try to keep you from becoming saints. He uses a whole bunch. That is his specialty. Distraction. I'll send those of you in our training guild a picture of Frantix, and you'll see that he has arms coming out everywhere, holding all kinds of distractions. Now, the distractions aren't necessarily bad. In fact, many of them are very good, such as music, art, sports, games, work, chores. These are all good and worthy endeavors, but Frantix is cunning. He knows that if he can distract you with enough things to do, good or bad, then he can keep you from spending time in prayer. In fact, I was just attacked by this cunning dragon while trying to prepare this podcast about prayer. Training all of you to slay dragons is a worthy endeavor, but with all the craziness of life, I was getting behind on my recordings. During Lent, I had made a commitment to spend a holy hour with Jesus every day, but with all my good work piling up, I figured maybe I could skip my prayer time so I could get more work done on my podcast ideas. But when I tried to work on the podcast, my mind was frazzled. I didn't know what to talk about. I couldn't think clearly. I was getting more and more frustrated, and I felt more and more behind. When my young daughter said, "Time for prayers," I snapped back and said, "I don't have time for prayers. I'm trying to figure out how to teach kids how to slay Frantix." I couldn't believe it. I choked on my own words. Cag! That sneaky little dragon, he tricked me while I was literally trying to help other people keep from getting tricked by him. I knew right away that I can't teach you anything about dragon slaying unless I get the instructions from the divine teacher first. Prayer is kind of like reading the directions before putting something together, like a bike. If you don't read the directions first, you're probably going to miss a step, and then you'll have to take it apart and you'll have to start over. I told you before I wanted to build a dragon slayer's training facility in my backyard, aka a pole barn. Well, one of my good friends is an architect, so I had him over for lunch one day, and we talked about, what I wanted to do. And, an architect is someone who designs buildings and other structures. Well, my friend, he went through a whole list of procedures and codes and safety measures and plans that he drew out. I was like, can't we just start building and worry about that stuff later? I want to get this thing done. And he told me that if I didn't plan first and do things in the right order, it would take twice as long and cost twice as much because of all the wrong steps I would take. It would probably fall apart really soon because it wouldn't have a strong foundation. Well, God is the divine architect. He has the plan for your life. He knew you before he formed you in your mother's womb. He made every hair on your head and every cell in your body. He gives you every breath in your lungs and every beat of your heart. He has an amazing plan for you. Don't you think you should spend some time in prayer each day to get the instructions for our lives before we try to do all this stuff we're so busy doing? And you know what? If you pray before you act, your time won't decrease. It'll increase. I know, that sounds like crazy math, but God can do anything. The math works because prayer helps you determine what's important in life and what's a waste of your time, so it saves you so much time in the end. You need prayer time, even when you're busy, especially when you're busy. But Frantics is going to try to distract you with so many things that you can't expect that you'll just find time for prayer each day. I found a lot of things in my life. I found a $5 bill once. I found the missing sock behind the dryer. I even found a beautiful woman who agreed to be my wife. But I've never found time. You have to make time. A mentor of mine once told me that the most important things in life are hardly ever urgent. Prayer usually isn't urgent, but it's necessary and important. So my challenge for you this week, young squires, is to schedule time for prayer each day. Make it a priority. Don't listen to Frantics when you feel too busy with urgent things. Frantics knows that prayer will make you better at everything you do and help you to do God's will. And he knows that if you spend time in prayer, you may ask God the most important question that will be the doom of all dragons. You might ask this question, God, what do you think I should do? Have the courage to ask that question, and God, the divine architect, will gradually show you his master plan for your life, and that plan is way better than anything you could ever come up with yourself. And to help protect you from dragons that are trying to get in your way, I'm going to send you a special Dragon Slayer's prayer to say each day. Imagine all of us praying the same Dragon Slayer's prayer every day. Oh, the dragons will flee in terror. So until next week, I leave you under the protection of St. Michael the Great Archangel, St. Joseph the Terror of Dragons, and Mary, Queen of the Angels, Our Lady of Grace, and the woman whose seed crushed the head of the dragon.
That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God created you to be.
Hey parents and kids, John here. This week, in addition to a free downloadable coloring page of Frantics, we're going to send our Training Guild members a free downloadable copy of Sir Roland's Dragon Slayer's Prayer, and also a prayer that I wrote for you moms and dads. And once again, this week we're drawing a name for a free Dragon Slayer's t-shirt, so be sure to check your Training Guild email. If you're not yet a member of our Training Guild, just go to extraordinarymission.com/dragonslayers and sign up today. And don't forget, listen to Catholic Sprouts every day, including Saturdays with Sir Roland.
This show is a production of the Spoke Street Media Podcast Network. For more great podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.